Welcome to SaaS-Story in the Making, the podcast that features the people who made the software world what it is today and the leaders who are shaping the future of technology. Here's your host, Matt Wallach.
Okay, I have some questions for you. Have you ever wondered what the best outreach strategies are right now, what the best companies are doing to go out and find cold business? Or maybe you've been wondering how you can ensure your outbound team performs at their highest levels. And should you even outsource your sales development team or not? All of that and more will be answered today. I am thrilled to be joined by my special guest, Amir Reiter. Amir, how you doing?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Good. Amir and I go back a bit. He's a great guy. He's the CEO of Cloudtask. Cloudtask is a really, really slick company. They offer outsourced sales and customer support teams. And I'm proud to say that they're also one of my clients. So I work with Amir directly, helping them get better at their own sales tactics, especially selling business to their potential customers.
That is correct. You are coaching us.
And a really slick team. I'm super impressed with the team that they have over there and with the structure that they have within their company. We're going to dive into how Amir has been able to set up such a very terrific leadership style up and down the organization. So I'm super excited to talk to you about that, Amir.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. So tell me, what has been going on lately at Cloudtask and what's coming up for you guys?
Well, a lot has been going on. I think the biggest thing for us is happy clients. I think that's all that matters, right? I think when you're building a business, you can have the best team, you can have the best anything, but if you're not fixing a problem, you got nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So for us, I think the big excitement for this year was COVID hit, changed everything, right? And culturally, we were able to not fire a single employee while other companies that had hundreds of millions of dollars in the books were cutting salaries and letting people go. And that's just, I think, done a great justice to our culture. And then more importantly, we're getting results for our clients and more predictability and more expertise of what's going to happen. Reality wise, we've probably grown a lot this year by saying no to false expectations, right? Which I'm really proud about. Where instead of saying, yeah, we can do that, yeah, those numbers we can get, we're saying no, that's not realistic, right? This is realistic, and then beating the expectations. And I think we're building a reputation for under-promising and over-delivering, which is exciting. We also purchased a software company back in last March, and we have been working on our platform. So we're turning into a platform as a service, almost like a Uber, right? Because for the first 4 years of our lives, we were a technology-enabled company, right? Using other people's technologies. And I would say that I was able to see the problem firsthand that existed in the market, which is an explosion of sales and marketing technology, which is extremely underutilized, and it's only getting worse, right? With low adoption. So I was able to see, well, hey, a lot of these tools are great, but they're disparate. They're not talking to each other. It's becoming more complicated. People want things done for them, right? People are expecting results. There's a culture of, I would say, like, I want to be less in the weeds and I want to get more of, more results, basically. So that platform is launching in January, which is exciting. It will not be a SaaS product. If you think about Uber, you're not going to give Uber $9 a month for their platform, put your own driver on it. You're paying for the ride, and the ride is going to get done efficiently with speed and a low cost because their platform is helping them do it at a better way. Same concept here. We're going to use data and technology to get results faster and really transform so that it's just like, it's not even an outsourced sales company, right? It's like we can get results faster because we got the process down packed, right? And it's exciting. So those are major changes.
That is exciting. That's great. That is exciting. Like you said, getting the process down packed is really, really important. I want to dive in also to what you said. I think it's so critical is you've learned how to say no. You've gotten better at saying no to stuff that is not ideal for you, that's not a good fit for what you're doing. I think that's such a hard hurdle for many to overcome, whether it's a company or a salesperson in specific, is saying no to something because you're so wanting to get that deal. You're so wanting to get things to happen, but getting a bad deal with a bad fit customer can be horrible for you. So I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. And if you think about it, like, what are we saying no to? We focus on the sales aspect, right? It's always about revenue, right? And Cloudtask is never going to say, no, you don't need revenue, because revenue is the lifeblood of an organization, right? Every company needs revenue, right? We're just saying really no to expectations, right? Or you're not ready for a full-time person. And what it's created is the opportunity that every time that we have a meeting or a conversation with somebody who wants revenue, right? The no is not necessarily, no, we're never going to be good for you. The no is not now, right? And we've created such a network of partnerships with people that can help you get revenue, because revenue is very complicated, right? And like, we start back to my first thing when I said, like, does your product ever actually help people, right? Like, that's stage one, right? Are you fixing a problem, right? And then if you're fixing a problem, you might be like, oh, I got a home run, but you don't, right? Because now you have branding, marketing, content, awareness, right? So if you look at, all the marketing agencies, content agencies, there's so much around revenue. So a lot of times those no's are not yet, and we're able to then introduce people to partners that we know are vetted and trusted. And it creates a situation where a company can come back to us 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2, 3 years, hire us when they know, or at least we know, that we'll get more predictable results, right? And it's a nice thing, because now I know an unqualified person is really a future customer or a future friend, right? And we're not putting ourselves first. We're putting the customer first, right? Because if you put yourself first, you say yes to everything. If you say no, right, what you really need is to talk to Matt Wallach. You need a higher closing rate. You don't need more A's. Your closing rate's too low, right? You have to fix the problem first before you scale it, right? And it's become great because our account executives are really now consultants, and they're consultative selling, right? And we obviously have to continue to train that, but by putting people's results first, I think we're creating a better culture, a better reputation, and it's helping. And I think every company can follow that, right? I think that's why we're talking about it. That concept works for any organization, right? Don't give someone something they don't need, right?
Yep, I think that's exactly it. The thing that I coach to my clients is work on helping, not selling. And you're doing just that with your team, Amir. I love it, because you're finding ways, hey, how can we help? Oh, we're not the best fit in my company. Let me get you to somebody who is. Maybe it's one of our partners, whoever. And actually, I've closed deals from referrals from people I've said no to. I told them, no, it's not a good fit because of this, but let me get you help. Let me make sure that I point you in the right direction. And guess what? They think the world of you after you do that, because they realize this guy wasn't just trying to sell me.
You just can't look at everyone like revenue, right? That's not how you look. You look at them as people with goals, and how can I help their goal, right? You can give someone advice, right? If someone's lost, make a left turn. You help that person, right? Like, just focusing really on helping and looking at profitability as a byproduct, right? Of helping it, I think, is a fundamental cultural thing that we're implementing here at Cloudtask.
I love it. And I think that's one of the things that is just a testament to your leadership and your company. And I know that Cloudtask has become one of the leaders in outsourced sales. It's really cool what you guys have been doing. So can you tell me some of the other things that have kind of helped your company become one of those leaders and make it so that the market is finding you so attractive?
So, I think what sets us apart is a few things. We're friends with everybody in the industry, right? I look at anybody who is a competitor as a colleague, right? So we have open dialogue. If you look at my WhatsApp, it is hilarious. I'm like getting voice notes from people that are direct competitors. I'm like asking advice. Amir, like, where do you buy your computers from? How do you fix this? How do you fix that? So I think what has made us a leader, if you consider us a leader, which is obviously subjective, is open dialogue and open communication with our colleagues and peers in the industry. And then I think the concept of that sales is hard. It's not supposed to be easy. We're not supposed to be the best, right? And in order to scale and grow, we're gonna use our same methodology, right? So like, if I go to a customer and I'm like, look, whether you outsource, you W-2, you 1099, that's engagement. If you focus on the results, that's all that matters. By believing in that and by growing like that has helped me. So I also outsource a lot, right? And I'm quick to do it, right? So by quickly being able to pull onto a consultant or a trainer or a coach or a specialist and not really focus on the engagement, right? Focusing on who I'm helping has allowed us to be a leader, because we're able to get strategies and teachings from everybody, and we're open-minded, right? I think the concept of we're not the best, we're not supposed to be the best. We're supposed to just push the industry forward, and just really working with a lot of people who are competitors, colleagues, and just like learning from everybody, I think has allowed us to set a foundation to continue to grow. And our growth is very reliant on the growth of our companies, right? So it's a positive feedback loop. We grow by helping. Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing how that happens. I love that you guys are always training, you're always learning, you're always finding ways to learn. Where did you get that belief? What led you to that philosophy and that leadership style?
I think it's just being very social. Like I grew up like collecting friends and always just networking and making introductions and helping people, and my first company was a water company, and I was friends with all my competitors, Wow. If we competed with each other, I'd be like, hey, Juan, what was one of the guys' names on the coffee company? I see your machines here. These company wanted to hire me. Like, what should I do? And having like that open dialogue where like I wasn't trying to like beat you. I was trying to like work with you. And
amazing.
I sold my company to a competitor, ended up working with them as well. And it was just carried on. I think to Cloudtask, where it's a part of my DNA where. I'm just addicted to helping people and addicted to being reliable, right?
That's awesome.
Reliability is big, right? Like what do you want in life? And I want to just be known for getting it done, right?
That I actually read a book once, and the best leaders are the ones who get stuff done. And the ones
like Amir can get it done, right? Like he's got it done, he'll get it done, right? Like I tell you, I'm going to be at the airport at 7 a.m. to pick you up. I'm going to be there at 6:50. Like reliability, and just also owning it, right? Like knowing that like failure is success, right? I think we're so brainwashed to thinking that like perfection is success, right? And it's not. It's actually being like, I messed up. I'm sorry. I made a mistake, right? Like I should not have done that, and just owning it and not hiding, right? I think we have a culture of like you're perfect, and if you're not perfect, you're embarrassed to own it, and then you just start over, and that doesn't work, right? It's a culture of burning bridges.
Agreed. I agree totally. So when is a good time for a company to outsource? When do they look at their process?
Okay, so that's an interesting topic. I don't think it's about that. I think it's focusing on your goals and then working backwards. And I don't think the word outsourcing is just a word, right? I think if you have clearly defined goals and you're putting together the puzzle that can get those goals, and it's logical and it makes sense. Because everything that we do is logical. We're not doing anything different. We're sending the right email at the right time with the right messaging, A/B testing. We're making phone calls or SMSing. We're not recreating sales. We're just doing it consistently, right? So it's a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm not going to outsource XYZ. It's our core competency. And I'm like, core competency just means what you're saying is that I don't believe that someone else can do it, right? That's kind of what you're saying. You know what I mean? So I think an organization that has the culture of putting results first, not engagements first, is ready to outsource, right? Now, if you are a big company with a repeatable process, you're ready to outsource. You always want to outsource what you can first, right? And then put your people who've been in the company and make them discover the new harder things, right? Make them move to enterprise, right? So just using outsourcing to get to your goal. If you understand that it is a tool designed to help you get to your goal, you're ready. If you are a mentality of, I've tried this before, it won't work, you can't do it, you are not ready.
Wow. I love that. That makes so much sense.
We've got our team, right? Like we get people who are brilliant. We get people we need to fire. You'll get people who are brilliant. You'll get people to fire. We're not changing reality, right? We're literally just saying like, hey, if we put all the data together, clean the data, we have writers, and you can pull on that, right? And people who understand that you have the ability to get more, right? Like we work with you, Matt, right? The more I talk with you, the more I'll get from our relationship. If I don't speak with you, I might get less, right? So I'm also in control of almost every relationship I have, whether it's W-2, a friend, a family. You have to give to get, if that makes sense. You have to communicate, right? So it's a mentality of I would say, I don't care where you are in the world. I don't care who you are. I care that you represent my company well. I care that you know what you're talking about, that you're educated. And if you follow those principles, I think outsourcing is good for anybody.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And like you said, you've got a lot of great team members there, some not so great. For you, when you're looking for somebody, what makes a great SDR, a sales development representative? What is that person made of?
Well, I'd be doing you a disjustice to ask that because I'm so far away now from HR and training. I always believe it's will, right? I think it's, for me, I love willingness. I like people who want to work hard. I like people who, get up every day and give 110%. I think anybody who gives 110% can succeed in anything. I know a competitor who happens to be blind, and I never knew he was blind. Right. And he is commenting on more posts on LinkedIn than most people on Facebook. And I didn't know any of this. He's using technology to read posts. Right. Wow. And what is he doing? He's giving 110%. And he has a good attitude and he succeeds. Right. I'm not going to name names. You might know him. Super nice guy. So I think that attitude, which is I'm going to give 110% and I'm not going to make any excuses, is what I look for in life, right? I don't think I ever look down at anybody who tries, right? I think we look down at people who don't try, who have the potential to do anything great and give 40% of what they can do. So that for me is big. To get more detailed, you have to ask my HR team. They know all that stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. I totally agree. I'm giving that will to strive to go above and beyond.
More than anybody who works hard. Right? Like I'll buy a $20 million thing if you bust your chops and you try your best. Like you don't need to be perfect for me. I just want to see your will.
I agree. And that's part of what I talk about, because if you're a software company, and all my clients are software companies, when they're going out trying to sell and pitch, you're usually up against 2, 3, 4, 5 competitors. And I say the one who has the best process wins out. But really, part of that process is your dedication to it and your persistence of performing your process. And a lot of that is your will. And are you willing to do what others are not willing to do?
Exactly.
It's huge. It's huge. So, what is the difference? I saw this post that you guys did. I thought it was super interesting. What is the difference between cold calling and outbound calling?
I would say cold calling would be, well, a play on words, right? But cold calling would be like you don't know who you're calling, you know how you can help them, and it's like you've no knowledge. And I would say an outbound call is somebody that you know who they are, you know some of their pain points, and you can have a conversation around that. Right? Not like, who am I calling? What do you do? What position? Right? Like that's a cold call. If you're like, hey man, I know that you're the CEO of a training organization, you probably grow in X amount of ways. I was wondering if like referrals are big for you, that would be less cold because
amazing.
A little bit under knowledge. Yeah.
I think that's so cool. There's such a difference when you have, like we said, a framework, and you know what your attack plan is. Especially, so many people talk about I need to be doing outbound, I need to be doing outbound, but then they just go and just start opening a phone book and dialing, and it doesn't work.
Forget that outbound. The word outbound and inbound is almost it's almost similar to like black, white, yellow, or just like how we separate people when we separate cultures. It's all about getting eyeballs on an offer that can help somebody. And outbound drives what we consider inbound, right? If I make 1,000 phone calls, make 1,000 emails, well, who's to say that somebody is not going to behave the same way as somebody who's SEOing and Googles and downloads an ebook, right? So is that outbound, right? Like if I call you and I'm like, hey, you call me, and I'm like, Matt, don't ever call me, hang up. But I go to your website, check you out, and I'm like, oh wait, this can help me. And I download something. That's not marketing. That's not inbound. It's outbound. So like we're dividing outbound and inbound because people have salaries and jobs to protect, right? If you take away the salaries and jobs to protect and you focus on your goals and your results, you'll win. If you're like, is marketing giving me an ROI? Is sales giving me an ROI? You're hurting yourself, right? And HubSpot is not a people company. They're a software company. So they'll go X far to educate you on that. It's marketing, inbound sales, right? And then they don't do the work for us, so people aren't executing it, right? They're just like their stock is like this. That's their priority now, right? But they have the concept that is great, and we're trying to take that concept and execute it, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a ton of sense. What are you thinking, or what are you seeing for your company? What are the best outbound strategies that are working well for your people?
Phone's the best. Phone's the best. LinkedIn, and I think it all starts with targeting, right? So I would say that ping data and the right persona is always the best, right? And I think I think that has been big for us, being a data company, right? I spoke about our platform. Our platform is going to be centered around human verified data. We have a whole verification process, right? Like is that person the right ICP, the right buyer profile? Are they still working there? Do you have the right phone number? Do you have a direct phone number? Do you have an SMS? Like what do you have? And if you start with that, you're able, everything else downstream works, right? Because it's like picking the wrong seeds. Like your fruit will never be good, right? Like you can be the best farmer of your crop, but if your seeds are not good, you're going to end up picking defective corn, right? So it all starts with the seeds, in my opinion, and that lets everything become better because more conversations, easier to coach, people understand more, right? You're not going to learn a product well if you're a new SDR. You feel like you have a quota on your head. You feel like you're going to lose your job. You have a low connect rate, right? How many calls do you make? 110. That's a vanity number, right? How many conversations have you had? You learn from conversations, right? So that's what we're seeing is working is great targeting, great data. We're going to triple down on that, right? Companies can come to us. They don't have to hire SDRs. They can just buy human verified leads per record. They can hire a sales development associate that does research for them, right? We're no longer a company of just doing SDRs, right? If you have 5 SDRs and they're making 15 meetings, why can't we get them to make 45 meetings? It's better to scale that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
More SDRs. Let's give human verified data. Let's 10x your calling. Let's get you guys making 45 SDRs. And then, by the way, maybe we'll get some SDRs, right? If we can do it, you know what I mean? But just finding how you can help that sales funnel, I think is been our huge strategy and working for us. And then also investing into coaches and trainers. So that's not like we're the best, we know everything. We're like, we work with the best, we're learning from the best. And that's been part of our strategy for succeeding. Which is not 100%, right? Like there's no 100%. You're very afraid of anyone who says that, I can guarantee anything in sales.
For sure. Yeah, that's definitely the case. You've built a really strong company. We've already heard, I love your focus on training and improvement and always getting better, always helping the customer. What are some other pieces of advice you would give? Because a lot of our audience are software leaders getting started or early stage companies, growth stage. What are some pieces of advice from things that have gone well for you or things that may not have gone well for you that you would tell these people?
Time goes by quickly, right? So I think things that you think were not important now might be important later, right? Like don't give people too, crazy of titles. Let them earn their role. Invest in your people, right? Train them. Be honest with them. Be straightforward. Don't sell a dream. If you never went IPO and you never built $1 billion company, don't tell them that they're going to make $1 billion because you've never done it before. You don't have that track record, right? Mm-hmm. So I think just be transparent, be honest. And build a culture where you don't control everything and you're hiring people that are smarter than you and they don't need to say, hey, Amir, what do you think of this problem? If we fix it, they're coming to you and they're saying, I fixed this problem this way, right? And that I think works very well with the millennials because, at the same time, like people want to be part of something, right? And you have a choice with your culture. And if you want to control everything, then you're not going to be that way. And also one thing I see all the time is if you're a tech company and you're the founder and you're CEO, but you're really a technology guy, hire a CEO. Don't try to be the CEO. It's not, title is a burden. I'll go clean if you tell me, Matt, that the Cloudtask will become $1 billion company and I'll help my clients, my employees be happy, I will go make coffee for everybody, right? Like, don't worry about the title, worry about the outcomes and make sure that you yourself are in the right role. I think is the biggest thing.
I love that. I've noticed that about you. You've talked to, I think when I first met you said, hey, if somebody needs to generate some leads, I'll go get on the phone and start generating some leads.
There's nothing I will ask my teammate to do that I won't do myself.
It's super leadership. That's why your team is so strong. So why they're so far, or they're so behind you in
what you're doing. I also feel like I'm in the beginning, so I feel like I'm the first base of learning, right? And I think it's just never, it's being hard on yourself is not a good thing, but I think I'm kind of hard on myself, and I don't take, I don't celebrate anything, and I'm not like, my goal is $1 billion company, right? So, and my whole thing is you're always learning until you die. And I think in my 20s, I knew everything. And now I realize that learning is a privilege, right? And be fortunate to have advice and you don't need to know everything. You need to know how to ask questions, right?
Absolutely. I love it. So this has been awesome, Amir. I've learned a lot myself, even in this call. I always enjoy our conversations. I'm always intrigued by what you bring up, makes me think, gets the gears turning. So how can our audience learn more about you and Cloudtask?
Yeah, listen, easily connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm on the channel. You could literally message me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You could probably get me. Be direct, right? Voice notes. I don't need hi, how are yous. I need like, this is what I want, what I need. I don't, even if you're trying to sell me something, tell me you're trying to sell me. So just be direct with me. And you could always go to cloudtask.com and fill out a form, talk to Chad. We're very, communication channels are very open for me. You can find me so easily. All my handles are Amir Reiter, Amir Reiter.
That's perfect. So once again, everybody, we've been talking with Amir Reiter, the CEO of Cloudtask. Amir, thank you so much for coming on.
Happy to be on, man. Talk soon.
Absolutely. And for everybody else, if you need help with your sales, with your coaching, give me a ring. You can reach me. You'll see it in the notes down below. You'll see all the information on how to get in touch with me. We can talk and see if I'm a fit to even help you or not. If so, we'll see about
it. Yeah, you can record call me. I record our meetings. That is straightforward.
There you go. You're one of my clients.
Huh?
What was that?
You're just straightforward. That's why I like it.
No, that's the way you have to be. Like you said, be direct.
Exactly. All right, Matt. This is awesome, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amir, and everybody else. We will see you next time. Take care.